that one? I'll take the over or past 7:05. I'll take, yes, he comes at about 7:14. All right, let's take some phone calls. 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air. How are you?
Good morning, Jed. Big Rich.
Big Rich, how you been, man?
I've been doing well, thank you. I sent you a couple of photos a few minutes ago of that crash on Bishop Ford.
What is that? What happened?
I don't know. The entire expressway is closed off, and there's the exit after the steel bridge just south of it. They're diverting. That car, I couldn't even, just looking at it real quick, I couldn't tell you what kind of car that was. It was so mangled, and it appeared that they were putting a motorcycle on one of the car carriers. So if I were to guess, there may have been some fatalities from what I just saw. Anyway, Gapers LA, I'm at the merge right now, going into the Meg Ryan, and it's not too bad.
All right, so hold on a second. Was the accident on northbound or southbound?
Coming out of the city.
So it was on the southbound, right?
Yeah.
So the southbound is closed, but the northbound just has a Gapers delay, correct?
Correct.
And the car was obviously very mangled, and they were putting a motorcycle on some sort of dump truck or a tow truck also. So it didn't look like, a lot of times they close it when it was a shootout or something. It was more of an accident and probably not a shootout. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, it appeared to be just an accident, maybe between a motorcycle car, but I have to the end of the year, then I'm hanging it up, and I cannot be happier because as we're speaking right now, there's a car going about 50 miles an hour on the shoulder, and these people drive like idiots every single day.
You don't have to explain that to me, man. I don't want to rub it in, but as you know, trying it can be to run a small business in a lot of hours. At the very least, I'm not driving to Chicago anymore, which I hated more than anything. And I am fully with you. The day you hang it up and you're not driving there will be one of the happiest days of your life, is my guess.
Yeah, this is about year 38 driving into the city. Being on different job sites all the years, I was never able to go to one certain building every single day. So, this guy just merged in with me. So anyway, it's been fun. I'll take that Greg is on time today, and let's go for a dozen Roman candles.
All right. You know what? You just won. He just pulled up. So, all right, man. I'll see you. Thanks a lot. Talk to you.
All right, be good.
219-845-1100 if you got something on your mind, huh? All right. Kaplan's knocking on the window and is very impatient. You know, he's got all these fireworks stores, and you know he's like a really important guy. But man, do I wish he would run into Cal Bellamy and learn how to dress better. I mean, who wears 1970 sandals when he's coming on TV and radio? You know what I mean? Don't swear. I'm live on the air, okay?
What?
I'm live on the air with this thing. Okay. And I was making fun of these weirdo sandals. Did you buy those at Kaplan Shoes in 1979?
I did.
You did? Okay, good. Kaplan Shoes, if you guys don't... Yeah, I mean, they look very... first of all, he's got the kind of feet like I got. They really shouldn't be showing them in public. Yeah, okay, good enough. Fisherman sandals, that's what they call them. Hey, guys, I got a couple other things before I bring Kaplan on, all right? And a couple, let me see. I got some text here, so let me get it. See what Jamie always gives me some good stuff here. What do you got, Jamie? Yes, Jamie, I will ask that question. That's part of what we're talking about. What's this one?
Your old buddy.
Who's my old buddy?
Shayna.
Oh, Shayna. Who's that? Is that Gwen?
Gwenny.
Who is that? Gwen?
Gwenny, my sister.
Who is this?
My sister with Shayna.
Okay, well, I got bad eyes, all right? Relax. There's Shayna the dog. Oh, my gosh.
I figured you'd get a good laugh out of it.
This dog, like I used to hang out at the Kaplan house when I was younger. His little brother and I are pretty good friends. And this dog was like a slobbering, just an animal.
Feed it beer.
Well, give it beer and blow weed in its face, and then the dog would, actually when you would blow weed down Shayna's throat, she would calm down a little bit. There it is. There's your sister. Now, what is a little confusing to me is that's a Christmas tree right there, right? And you're Jewish. I know,
right.
Melvin. I can't believe that Melvin would ever allow a Christmas tree
My
there.
mom was a Gentile.
Oh, she was? Okay, good enough. I did have Micah Beckwith yesterday. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that at all. It looks like we have a ceasefire in Iran, Israel. We could talk about that. Or I could take a short break and we could talk fireworks. Why don't we do that? I'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region. So we're in the kind of a dog days of June right now, and you've heard the commercials and you know what that means. It means that it is time for Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks. In the studio right now, if you want to watch it, go to JED TV, download the app, or watch it on your TV in your living room. It's Greg Kaplan. How you doing, man?
Hey, Jimmy, how are you?
All right. She's going to adjust your audio here in a second. I'm doing great. Tell me a little bit how much better you're doing, huh?
It's on.
It's on. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it
There it
just
is.
doesn't
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot better. Getting around. I lost a bunch of weight. Business has been brisk. Makes me happy. Makes me feel good. And we're rolling along. I think you're getting a little grayer, and I'm getting a lot older.
You have lost how much weight?
Probably over 110 pounds.
Where'd it go?
It went away. I changed what I eat. I'm taking all my medicine. I'm diabetic, type 2, and it's affected me tremendously. I mean, now my blood sugar's right. My blood pressure's getting better every day. And you know what? As the years clock by, you got to take care of yourself.
All right, hold on a second. If anybody saw me fall off my chair,
when you don't drink, you don't take in all the sugar. And I don't know, it's been 3-4 years, since I had Jack Daniels.
that I can understand. I know a lot of guys that just stop drinking when they get older, but I guess the part that surprises me is to hear you talk about wellness and taking care of yourself and eating right and doing a little exercise and I'm astounded at that part of this discussion.
You know what? Through the years, you abuse your body, your head, whatever, and as the years clock on, and then as you get older, you realize that some of that stuff isn't too good for you. And I came to realization that I'd rather take care of myself, probably live longer, enjoy life a little better, and in lots of different ways. And I've got a daughter, and she's getting to be at the age, and then you have daughters, and you now have grandchildren.
I do. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think I maybe work out at the Y and go to yoga and stuff because I'm like, both. If you don't know this history, I'm good friends with Greg's little brother, and I grew up basically hanging out at the Kaplan house and making Melvin miserable. But Gary
People
and
don't know who Melvin is. Melvin is my father. Melvin ran shoe stores with his mother and father. They started back in the 20s in East Chicago. We have a long history here in the region. And Jimmy is like an adopted son over at my parents' house growing up. Him and Billy Baker, John Broderson, the list is on, it goes on and on and on.
But the best part was he brought a picture of Shayna the dog, who was just a beast. And then
There's a 125-pound red Doberman. Dobermans don't normally get that big. The Munster police had shot at that dog twice, thinking it was a deer running. The dog had a past, and if you ever ran into my father during those years, the dog was hanging out the back of his car nonstop, 24/7. Am I exaggerating?
I agree with that, but even better, like, we would come into the house, usually kind of messed up, and go down to this basement. It was like a hidden basement down low, and Melvin would be in this big lazy boy with Shayna kind of right at his side all the time.
If you got close to my father's chair as lazy boy, that dog would take your right arm off.
Exactly. I seemed to like me. I would play with the dog a little bit. I would play with the dog just so I could make fun of your dad, who was, kind of a grumpy dude, kind of came off kind of gruff like you, but with a big heart of gold. You guys may not know this. You see, how many billboards you got? 200 to over 200?
Over a couple hundred. My gal from Lamar just called me yesterday and says, hey, do you want to take out the rest of the digitals throughout the whole Lake County? And I said, yeah, why not?
So
she gave me a price, and she goes, you're really helping me out. And I'm like, you're really hurting me, but that's okay. That's advertising.
Crazy Kaplan's is nationally known, and part of it was Greg learned how to market right across the street here with his dad's shoe stores, Kaplan's Shoe Stores. And here at WJOB, and you can hear the spots now, and we're hitting it hard. We're just a fraction of it now, but many people don't know that you were quite the football player.
I was.
And what I did not see for several decades was kind of a roly-poly guy, which when you were 110 pounds heavier, and it would be hard. I would tell people, I go, that gruffy-looking dude and kind of big fat dude, he was a really good on the line. In Munster football, and played for John Friend, and was friends with him all the way through to his death, just like me. But you're starting to get back closer to your playing weight. Now I could say, Greg Kaplan was a really good football player, and they could believe it because they could look at you now. But before, it was no way. You couldn't even believe it.
Well, we all go through different trends of our life, and earlier we talked about being fit, getting healthy. Life takes many twists and turns. And I just realized that, you're too big. My brother, you haven't seen him.
I see the pictures. I stay away from him because he never stopped it. He never stopped the game. We lived together in Chicago, and
I can't imagine.
It was mayhem. And he would be, I'd be sleeping for work the next day, and he would come back with like 3 women. Hey, wake up! And I'm like, I gotta work.
Gary's down to like a little over 200. That's it. And he said he lost like 95 pounds.
Really?
I don't know if he's taken Ozempic, and I'd like to bring that up. I'm on Ozempic for my diabetes. I'm not on it to lose weight. I'd already lost the weight. I've probably lost another little over 20-some pounds on Ozempic, but it tears you up. I thought that metformin tore you up, but this stuff's terrible to your body.
Really? You look good.
I know that. My Ozempic, my A1C's probably dropped over 50%. And again, it's numbers. I never paid attention to numbers other than going to get a half gallon of Jack Daniels,
And drinking it over a 2-day period.
Maybe. But long story short, that's all long history. And you know what? To anybody that's getting older, that's not in their 20s anymore, listen to what I'm saying. Pay attention to your body. Pay attention to health. Take care of yourself. You'll live a lot longer. I've got a lot of friends that got involved with drugs and screwed up and are dead. If you want to be dead, go down that road. Okay?
God, we do know a lot of people who are dead that just kept going. You know what I mean?
It's sad, you know.
Honestly, I felt you were one of them.
Well,
I felt you were on that road, and people would ask me, "Well, how's Kaplan? I know you know him," and I go, "Well, I haven't seen him for a while, but I was, the way that you were eating and drinking and carrying on."
yeah, everybody loves to have fun. I mean, that's a fact. There's other ways of having fun, and I just thought it came to be. I don't know why. I don't know how. It just did with me that health matters. Period. Okay. And I don't mean to sound like an advocate or a therapist or somebody, but I'm giving good news out there that if you eat better and you drink better, I mean, water is the number one thing for your body. And drink a lot of water.
He's Greg Kaplan. We are in the fireworks season, but, Kaplan doesn't necessarily open up about him and what some of the changes he went through. We got one other thing that we have to bring up. It has been the 1 year anniversary a few days ago of the death of John Friend, and Doug Friend and I were texting back and forth. I think it was a hard day for him. And but you and I were on last year before he died, I think.
Yep.
And then so it's we haven't been on and talked about what Coach Friend meant to you. What did he mean to you?
A lot. Kind of hurts. I was, his family made me I carried his casket at the cemetery. He and I became really closer. I can remember when I was like 13 or 14. I don't know why he picked me, but he picked me for pictures in this book for tackling and linemen and whatever. This goes all the way back to then, and that's almost like 50 years ago. He was a coach at football camp I attended in Lake Wawasee, and there were some other really good coaches that went there. Bo Schembechler, John Friend ranked up there. He should have been a college coach, should have been. He and I, through the years, just became really close, and he's one of those guys. He's one of those men. My dad was a tough individual. Went to military academy. My grandparents didn't have time to, my dad was sometimes, from what I hear, worse than Gary, and that's hard to believe. But getting back to John Friend, we just became close through the years, and it's like every other week we'd go to lunch, and my wife would tell me, he ain't going to be around forever, and he made it to his 90s, And the guy was a legend. He touched people. He obviously was a great coach, but above all, a great man. And being a father, and I don't think he's a grandfather yet, but doesn't matter. He passed away. He left so many memories and so many people with coaching, and he left Munster early, and Leroy Marsh took over. And it's crazy how I run into all these younger kids under me. I think Gary and you guys had John Friend or
They were the last one.
Last
game
year.
on a Bricky Bowl and a semi-state.
I'm sure that he touched all you guys. And, at his funeral, I'm walking back to the car after he was put in the ground, and somebody said hello to me, and I didn't recognize him. And if he's listening, he knows who he is. Dennis Flynn. Okay?
DFU. Dennis Flynn, that was his badge at the Board of Trade. Yeah, he was the guy who got me started. Yeah, Dennis Flynn. Yeah, he took it hard. He took it hard, too.
He made me, back then, the individual, the tough guy, the football player. He touched a lot of people back then, too. He was a great football player.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I joined wrestling. I had to wrestle him. And he was a pretty good wrestler. But
But
you
he
know,
went on to play football at Illinois and then
Right.
played pro football for under George Allen for a while, and he would quote
he
him
got
for a while.
looked at from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, he
You
played
know,
in the AF or
you know,
CFL.
I
or
don't know
something.
if I should say this on the air, but it was tough being next to Dennis Flynn my whole career through high school. But I think he made me a better player, tougher player, smarter player, and a lot of memories there. You know, and you know it was kind of rewarding running into him.
Yeah, one of the things I remember, Dennis Flynn got me my start at the Board of Trade. He hired me, and I worked with him off and on for years. And I knew him when I was maybe a freshman or eighth grader, and he was a senior, and the whole stands would be filled with coaches coming to see and recruit him. But I remember just from when he would coach like seventh grade football, he used to teach the linemen, and I wasn't a lineman, but he's like, all right, you think you just need to run in there at the quarterback crazed every time. He's like, you got to look where they're blocking, and you kind of got to accept what they're going to give you. And you would notice when I would watch him on TV, when he got it to Illinois, everybody else was always just running in there, and he'd kind of accept the block, and then, he would get a lot of tackles right at the line of scrimmage. He wasn't always looking to get that 4-yard loss because he was...
He didn't play for the Bears?
Yeah, but then when I went to trade for him at the Board of Trade, he was very similar. It was like he was always kind of watching and waiting for the
aggressive.
He would wait, and then boom, and then it was time. But you can't be aggressive right off the bat. You got to just kind of let it happen. And I learned a lot in trading from him on that.
When he'd get tired, he'd give me that wink or the wave, for me to go in to give him a break.
Because he would play two ways.
Well, yeah. I played offensive center, and he played defensive tackle, so I'd go in as a defensive tackle. Those were the days. I enjoyed every minute of playing. I enjoy sports. I used to be a tennis player, and then John Friend gave me a football helmet, and the tennis racket disappeared.
So you had the choice between two legends, John Friend or Sid Rothstein. Remember Sid Rothstein? He had that shoe store out of his cleaners.
Well, he came to my dad. Adidas stopped him. I don't know what conditions they were, and my dad would stock the dry cleaner over on, I guess it's White Oak?
Yeah. White Oak and Elliott.
Across from the little store in Munster. And I'll never forget, my dad gave me the keys to the van. I think I'm 14 or 15. He says, I'm mad at Sid. Go get my shoes. And they were all Adidas, And I went over there, and he wasn't there, and I had the van all packed up. I'm pulling away, and he's pulling in his Lincoln. And he says, what are you doing? I said, I guess you owe my dad money. He told me to come get the shoes, So he's screaming, cussing me out, and this and that. And I'm not even old enough to drive yet. So, but I'm used to that. I mean, right now I'm still driving trucks, just like I did for my dad. And I have to have a CDL and a hazmat and everything for explosives. And they took that away from me when I had a stroke. So for a year, mandatory that you have to give up your CDL. So I had to go back at 65 and take all the tests again, I don't know, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. And I passed. It took me a couple times, which is no big deal. And I passed on the second and third time. I actually had to open up the book and study, read, whatever. And I haven't done that since college,
So the breaking news here is that Greg Kaplan has lost 110 pounds and is into the wellness kick and read a book. And all of those things are not computing. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a short break and let it compute. And then we're going to come back and talk about what fireworks are hot this year. We'll be right back on the Voice and Face of the Region. Hey, we're going into the fireworks season, and we're already heavily into it. Greg Kaplan with Crazy Kaplan's Fireworks is here, and we're going to go through some of the more popular stuff right now. Before we do that, Greg, how have the tariffs affected your business?
extremely. At one point in time, the tariffs rose up to 145%. And that's not forgiving. That is anything after April 9th was imported. And we all bring in a lot of containers. A lot of them got canceled because of that. The prices shot way up. I mean, obviously, you got to put that on your cost of goods. So in the meantime, I mean, it halted basically the whole industry. I mean, that's the industry I know. But it also halted like import on cars, ordering car parts, ordering electronics. It affected the whole market across the board, not just fireworks. But Trump passed a reprieve for 90 days, to kind of ease things up and maybe manipulate the Chinese, basically, is what it came down to. I canceled quite a bit of a lot of containers, and that's I probably import 90% of what I do. We didn't do that with shoes. We bought them all domestically, but back then the market was completely different. There wasn't an import market. There is an import, 100% almost with fireworks. So knowing that, it affected the whole industry, not just crazy Kaplans. Though the good point about this is I own a warehouse that was already well stocked, and that's pre-tariff merchandise. A lot of my containers came in before the tariffs started, so that was a win-win. And you know what? I'm offering wheels and deals. I'm clearing out the warehouse. We're clearing out our stock. If you want the deal of a lifetime for fireworks, right now is the time to come to Crazy Kaplans. We're offering tons of 5-for-1 deals, 4-for-1 deals. We lowered a lot of our prices to compete out there. Basically, I lowered our prices to bring down my inventory, if that makes any sense. Inventory that is non-tariffed, inventory that is choice merchandise that you can come get premium product like 5-inch, 6-inch shells, artillery shells. I'm offering out there at $69.95 for a 24-pack. We're doing 5 for $20s on 200 milligram cakes. On the finale cakes, I buried myself in Black Cat stock. So if you're looking for Black Cat items and looking for deals, I got them.
So, I've been to your warehouse at an undisclosed location many times, and, I've been there in the middle of winter, and you'll have crates and crates and containers and containers of stock. And you've always kind of done that, and I think part of it, if I remember correctly, is that you're always kind of afraid of not having enough stuff. So you were buying all the way through the winter and stuff, and it looks like that kind of paid off for you this year.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For the first time, it's going on almost 40 years for me. We took an inventory last year, and Angie, Joe, Maurizio, all the people that work for me, put it together doing an inventory. And the inventory was taken at cost. And I almost died. It was more than 2.5 times what I thought it was. So somebody says, oh, Kaplan has a lot of money. No, Kaplan has a lot of fireworks. Okay? And this year we're trying to reduce the inventory, bring the inventory down, and I'm giving that money away basically to the customer that walks in. And, my competitors are probably saying, how is he doing this? Why already he own the merchandise? That's how I'm doing it. We're turning it into money and to the advantage of the shopper coming in. It's going to benefit them. So I'm telling you guys, you'd make a right move by walking in the door and buying your fireworks at Crazy Kaplan's.
How many locations?
We've got 5 currently in the warehouse. The one location is off of Klein Avenue. That's a big store. That's like 26,000 square feet of boom. That's exit 5, Klein South. And then we're on exit 1 coming into Indiana to the north side. And I doubled the size of that store. I was renting actually part of that building to Tom McDermott, our famous mayor. And we remodeled, 2 or 3 years ago. I'm bad on time. So that's at exit 1 north. And then there's a store at 4334 Calumet. That's near Goslin and Calumet Avenue. That store's been there over 30 years. And then we're up in Whiting at 5 Points. Everybody knows, if you're a local person, where 5 Points is, across from the soap factory. We're right there. And then we're out in Dyer, right on Route 30, the old 84 Lumber Building. And if you can't find something that's there, then you come find me, because you'll find me. And I will guarantee I will load your car up with fireworks.
What's popular right now?
I think mainly finale cakes, the 500 milligram. We're running specials on those, 4 and 5 for $100. Artillery shells, the canister shells. There's new rockets out, strobe rockets that are loud as hell that I carry, and miscellaneous. Multicolored smoke items. It never stops.
Morning Glory?
There's I sold out of them already.
Sold out of Morning Glory?
No.
Oh.
I got hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cases of Morning Glories. It's a very popular item. There was a machine gun Roman candle this year that this company made that I imported with, and we ran out of them. Mallory comes home from working at Dyer, and she goes, "Can you get me any more next year from China?" And we blew through this one item. It's a battery-operated machine gun, but it's a Roman candle. Okay, you're asking about new items? It's stuff like that this company is very creative on. It's called Miracle. And you know what? After all these years, I still get excited over items that somebody's being creative with. I used to get creative with logos, images, marketing, and that's pretty much my background, even though I graduated IU with a accounting degree. I still get excited over new items like that. Somebody's, putting their thinking cap on and doing this stuff. And single shot artillery shells that don't require another tube. In other words, you light it in that item with the single tube. And, as the years progress, this stuff was never ever thought of when I first started, Everything was pretty generic, pretty ugly compared to now. It's beautiful, the what do you call it? The engineering of imaging and printing, and besides it going up in the air and exploding with 10 times better color, better noise, more new effects, I still get excited about this stuff.
Talking to Greg Kaplan going into the July 4th of 2025, the summary would be that Kaplan, I would know this, I already knew this from going to his warehouse, which was packed in December, was able to get a bunch of stuff pre-tariff and is very well stocked. Few people dropped out of the business and, are having some issues, but certainly Crazy Kaplan's is not. Greg, we can't talk about all this fireworks stuff without addressing safety and putting that stuff. What do you want to say on that?
I sound like a broken record when we talk about safety. Keep the drugs out of the equation. Keep the alcohol out of the equation. Make sure if there's kids lighting stuff that you're a distance away from buildings, trees, overhead power lines, certain things. I mean, common sense. Common sense ranks number one when enjoying and shooting fireworks. And above all, make sure with the kids there's adult supervision.
You can go to the Crazy Kaplan website, crazykaplans.net, and they have a full, can you just read them all real quick, Adriana, and just read all the way down so that we don't forget anything. Here are basically the 8 or 9 tenets. Go ahead.
So for the safety page, we see here that children should not handle fireworks. Never let a child handle fireworks, play with, or light any fireworks. Only adults should handle and light the fireworks. They are a great family fun, but they burn very hot and are intended to be handled only by adults. Do not use alcohol with fireworks. Please do not consume any alcohol while lighting any fireworks. Fireworks must be used only by individuals who act responsible manner, who are not under any influence of alcohol or drugs. If you are impaired when you use fireworks, you increase the possibility of misuse and injury.
Yeah, read the next one, and then the other ones, just read the headline.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Use in a clear, open area. Keep the audience, and particularly children, in a safe distance away from shooting sites. Always light your fireworks in a clear, open area away from buildings, vehicles, and shrubbery. Let's see here. Have water close by. Use care in lighting fireworks. Light them one at a time. Be careful with animals alongside with children as well. Use fireworks on a hard surface so they don't tip over. And never use fireworks as a weapon.
And if you want to see that, if you're like a little bit, you know, like what do we think about in terms of safety, or maybe some things you hadn't thought about, just go to the Crazy Kaplan's website and go through that. If you're going to buy a bunch of fireworks and light them out in front of the house or something, make sure you go through that just as a reminder. Anything else this season?
That's it. Come to Crazy Kaplan's. We got the best prices and obviously the biggest stores, well stocked, the best inventory. I try my best to bring out new items, and you know what? You won't be disappointed. Come to Crazy Kaplan Fireworks.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. We'll be right back on the voice and face of the region.